To reach our second nature, please allow us to give you contentment by fing the friends. Deficiencies bless all of humanity and all of reality, our teachers and all the friends. Enable us to find you behind each one of the friends, to hear your voice in their voice. Give us the correct desire and the correct efficiency. May we be rewarded together with the degree of attainment and make you happy. Amen. Please pay attention, it's a local announcement in case we hear an alarm. Please exit both sides of the study hall and go down the stairs to the event hall. Shalom, hello, we are reading from the writings of Rabush from the article Belong to Us. Sorry, what is the concealed things? Belong to the Lord, and the revealed things belong to us. In the work may ask questions on the out system, or you can send questions live through our website. Anyone who would like to ask a question here in the study hall, please stand up, hold the microphone close to your mouth, and speak loudly and clearly. Article: what is the concealed things belong to the Lord, and the revealed things belong to us. In the work, well, we see how important this topic is. So let's hear it. What is the concealed things belong to the Lord, and the revealed things belong to us. In the work it is written, the concealed things belong to the Lord, and the revealed things belong to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah law. We should understand what knowing this gives us. Would anyone consider that man can know the concealed? And if we can know the concealed, why did the Creator hide it from us? And we should also understand what are the concealed things. What does this imply? That we must not look into that, it rather belongs to the Lord our God. It is written about the verse, when you raise the candles. Rashi interprets that when you raise means that the flame goes up, meaning we must light up until the flame rises by itself. We should understand what it implies to us, that we must light up until the flame rises by itself. Certainly, if the candle does not burn properly, but burns only as long as the person is lighting it, we certainly have to wait until it burns by itself. What novelty is it to say, until the flame rises by itself? Concerning the making of the menorah, it is written, this was the making of the men, the lamba hammer, work of gold. She interprets hammer, it was 1 talent, 1 piece of gold. He would strike it with a hammer and cut it with scissors to spread its pieces properly. It was not made by separate pieces connected. Likewise, he made the men. Rashi interprets it was done by itself by the Creator. We should understand this. If the man was made by itself, why do they have to strike with a hammer and cut it with scissors? Certainly, if the Creator makes the men, it should have been enough to take a talent of gold and it would be made by itself. Why was there a need to strike? It is known that human nature is to want only to receive for one's own benefit. A person cannot do anything unless he sees that it will yield some benefit for himself. It is written about it in the Zohar. The leech has 2 daughters. Havzi interprets the leech has 2 daughters. That how as dogs have in Hebrew, it means give us the wealth of this world, and give us the wealth of the next world. In other words, everything a person sees from which he can derive some pleasure, he yells about it have, which means give. I accept this with my heart and soul. We were given the commandment to love the Creator, as it is written, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. But how can this be observed if it is against our nature, as said about the verse, and dawned on them from that he opened to children of so they would receive the Torah, but they did not want It he appeared from Mount Fine he walked there and opened to the children of Israel to accept it, yet they did not want it, meaning they all asked what is written in it. Didn't want it because it is written, you shall not commit murder, and it's written about you shall live by your sword. It is likewise with the children of we the children of is what does it right, do not commit adultery. They did not want it, but when he came to the people of Israel, they said, we will do, and we will. Here we should understand, does the evil inclination in the people of Israel agree to relinquish the bad qualities? If so, what does it mean when they said we shall do and we shall? Here we should interpret that when the people of Israel saw that their evil objected to the Torah, meaning that they did not want to observe the commandments of the Torah, they said, we will do it against its will, meaning by coin. Although our evil disagrees, however, we should understand the merit of one who gives something to another by force. Can we say that he has given to him out of love, since he does not love him? So this is not the reason for giving. Love is acquired by giving to each other good things. Then it is natural that the receiver of the gift comes to love the giver, yet the giving does not make the giver love the receiver by giving. So what is the reason that Israel said we will do against its will, although the evil disagrees? And also how will this fulfill? And you shall love the Lord your God. Sages said that when Israel said we will do and we will hear, the Creator said, who revealed to my children this secret, the tool that the ministering angels use, as it was said, mighty in strength, doers of his word, and then hearing the voice of his word. This means that doing is regarded as mighty in strength, meaning overcoming, though the body, which has the nature of self-reception, disagrees later by doing through overcoming. Although the evil inclination does not want, we are later rewarded with hearing the voice of his word. The meaning of I hear is I think, as I just said. I did not hear means I do not think. Accordingly, the literal meaning is that by saying we will do in overcoming by cohesion, we will then be rewarded with we will. Here that is the matter, will be reasonable and acceptable. This means that when we find it reasonable and acceptable, we will certainly be able to do everything with love and joy, and then everything will be voluntary and not compulsory. According to the above said, we can interpret the words who revealed to my children this secret, where we must understand what is the secret in saying we will do and we will hear, of which asked who disclosed this secret. However, we must understand what is a secret in the work. The secret means that it is not revealed, but we must believe that it is. Here that is, there is a matter here that we want and need to know, and if we have no need to know it, we do not consider it a secret. If a similar to someone seeing two people whispering to one another, clearly they do not want him to hear, but if they are not speaking about him, he does not want to know what they are saying. In that case, what they are saying is not considered a secret that he wants to know. Even if he were told, he would still not want to hear, since every person has his own business that interest him. But if he thought that they were speaking of him, he would want to know what they are saying, for it is a secret that they do not want him to know. The same orders that applies in corporeality also applies in the work. For example, when a person learns Torah, when a person is learning rules, it can be said that the Torah does not speak in secret things he does not know. On the contrary, the Torah tells him the rules by which to observe the myth. However, when he learns the stories in the Torah, or even the legends of our sages, if he believes that the Torah speaks of him but does not know the connection between the Torah he is learning and himself, and he wants to know what is written there. This is considered that now he is learning a secret, that is, two things are required in order for something to be considered a secret. One, he must believe that they are speaking of him. He must want to know what the Torah says about him, meaning what the Torah speaks of that pertains to him. Only in this way is it regarded as a secret in the work. Now we can understand what the Creator said, who revealed to my children this secret. It means who revealed to my children the secret of believing that by working in coin incursion they will be rewarded with hearing me, and that which was previously compulsory will then become voluntary. It follows that doing is called faith, that is, by believing that after the doing they would be rewarded with hearing. They were certain also during the decision to do the things with joy and love, since they could be rewarded with hearing. This is not so with the nations of the world. In the work they are parts of man that do not pertain to the quality of Israel. Rather, they want to do everything with the external mind, as it understands what they can achieve, that which the intellect deems worth doing. For this they are willing to work, but not for what concerns faith above reason. In other words, they see that with their reason that a person cannot revoke the will to receive by himself. Instead, we must believe that if the Creator gave us this work of working in order to bestow, he must have known that it was possible to do this, but we, with our tiny mind, do not understand how such thing can be, that it is truly a miracle from heaven. But the Creator certainly knew that we can achieve this degree. They do not know how there are such things they cannot believe. This is called the nations of the world, but Israel means that they can believe and believe above reason, and those who belong to Israel, to the quality of Israel, believe that bestowing is a secret to people, meaning that they do not know how to achieve the power Otho, but they do believe. The nations of the world in a person say that this is difficult and not for us, when we see that we are required to walk by way of faith above reason. They have no interest in this and escape the campaign, saying that this is difficult for them. This is why the nations of the world in men did not want to receive the Torah, or, as we learned, receiving the Torah is regarded. Say, should a men die in a tent? Our sages said the Torah exists only in one who puts himself to death over. It means that a person should revoke his self benefit and make all his concerns the only for the benefit of the Creator, because the body does not agree to cancel the self-benefit and walk by way of coercion and believe that by we shall do we will achieve we shall. Here this faith is unacceptable to the reason of the receiver for himself. This is the whole difference between the nations of the world and Israel. Now we can understand what does it imply that they said we must light up until the flame rises by itself? The thing is that lighting, it pertains to men who must perform an act. What extent must he perform the act called by coercion? It is until the flame rises by itself. By itself means without the actions of the lower one. This is called by rather he's rewarded with the Creator giving him hearing naturally. At that time the person does everything gladly with love and willingly, as when he engaged in doing which was compulsory. The body resisted when he wanted to bestow upon the Creator. Now, however, it is by way of you will love the Lord your God with all your heart, with both your inclinations. That is, the evil inclination loves the Creator too, since it is annulled before the Creator as a candle before a torch. This is the literal meaning of a person having to light up to do things until the flame rises by itself and not by a person's own strength, thus by itself means by the power of the Creator. Likewise we should interpret what we asked about what our sages said about the making of the men. This was the making of the men, a single hammered work of gold. It was one talent piece of gold. He would strike with a hammer and cut with scissors to spread it properly. It was not made by separate talents connected. We asked, since they said a literal commentary, this is how he made the man. It was made by itself by the Creator. If the Creator made a menorah, which is called by itself, why did they have to strike with a hammer? Why must men do something to however a person should say we shall do and we shall? Here that is, a person should begin in coercion. He should believe that he will be rewarded with hearing, since there is no light without a cle, meaning that the Creator does not give a feeling to a person unless that person has a need for the Creator to fill it. Hence the person must begin and see that it is difficult and then pray to the Creator to help him. At that time the person sees that everything is done by itself, meaning without man's help. Thus what is the person do in the making of the men if the Creator does everything? Answer: man's work is required. Without the men, without men's doing, we would not have that knowledge that the Creator does everything. Rather the person would say that he can achieve wholeness by himself as well without the Creator's help. And my power and the might of my hand have gotten me this success. After a person toils and labors and does all that he can do, he did not move even one bit, he must say that the Creator has given him this strength to be able to work in order to bestow as a gift. This means that the Creator has given men permission to serve him. This permission is called that he has given him pleasure when he bestows upon the Creator. By this we will understand the words: it was one talent, one piece of gold. The body is called a talent of gold. As it is written in the Zohar, the leech has two daughters that Allah's dogs have give us the wealth of this world and give us the wealth of the next world. That body which is called a talent of was striking with a hammer. Explanation: any work that the body does cursively is regarded as striking with a hammer and cutting with scissors. That is, every coercion that a person does is as though he has cut off a part of meaning part of the will to receive for himself. This is the meaning of what is written: to spread her organs properly, meaning to strip off from the organs the will to receive for oneself and correct them to work in order to bestow. This is called to spread her organs properly. However, it was not so, that is, it was not done as one complete organ, one organ opposite one quality in wholeness, and then another complete quality. Rather, one wholeness was made for all, which is in order to bestow. Then all the organs were connected into one complete quality. However, it was not so, but on the contrary, each organ that he wanted to correct the bad appeared in its place, and not the good. Therefore he had many organs that were spoiled, until he came to a state where he saw that there was not a single organ in his receiver that was willing to work to bestow. At that time he saw that it was all a hammered work of that is, he saw that gold, meaning the receiver, is difficult to invert to working in order to. At that time the cle is completed, meaning the act on the part of the lower one. He sees that he cannot prevail over it, as it is written: and the children of Israel sigh from the work, and their cry went up to God from the work. Then the help from the Creator arrives, as it is written. Likewise he made the men, and Rashi interpreted that it was done by itself by the Creator. Thus who made the men? The Creator himself, but if so, what is Isra's work? For the answer is in order to reveal the need that only the Creator can change, the nature he has created, that the creatures should have a desire to receive for themselves, otherwise a person thinks that he himself could turn the receiver into a giver. However, we should also understand why the Creator should care if the creatures do not know the truth and think that they themselves can do this work of turning the vessels of reception into the store. Or we can ask the question differently: why did the Creator not give us strength to man to be able to invert the vessels of reception into bestow by himself? Bam said that the answer to this is that it is a correction, otherwise a person would remain in his lowly degree, that is, he would not need the light of Torah, but the Creator wanted to give them the Torah, hence by not being able to obtain vessels of bestow by themselves, they will ask the Creator to help them. The help he will give them is specifically through the Torah, since the light in it reforms him. It follows that a man must receive the Torah, since the second phase after being reformed and receiving the vessels of bestow, which is phase 1, is that he receives the Torah as the names of the Creator. This quality is called his desire to do good to his creations, clothed in the names of the Creator, and it is called the Torah. And Israel and the Creator are one. Now we can interpret what is written: concealed things belong to Lord our God, and the revealed things belong to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah, this law. We asked, what does this come to teach us? The answer is that when a person begins the work of bestow, he sees that he's not moving forward toward obtaining vessels of bestow, but to the contrary. At that time, a person begins to see his bad state, how immersed he is in self-loathe, since according to the rule, the more a person wants his garments to be clean of any dirt, the more he sees the dirt. There is a rule: anything which does not rest upon a man he will do absent-mindedly. It means that when a person does not pay attention to something, he does not see what is missing. Therefore, this reason, when he begins to work in order to bestow and pays attention to the extent to which he is willing to work in order to bestow, he sees how far he is from bestow, and that he cannot do anything without reward. Hence, what can a person do when he sees that he has no progress in the work of bestow, but rather always sees that he cannot exit self-love that is in the beginning of the work? He thought that if he only decided to walk on the path of bestow, he would promptly be able to. That is, he thought that he was his own landlord, for who would tell him what to do? You can say that on things he wants to do. There can be interferences from people on the outside, but here in work of bestow, which is only the intention to bestow, meaning that he does not need to observe more than 613 if he wants to aim to bestow. Thus, superficially, he is engaging like everyone else, like the general public, and is not unusual. So it can be said that the general public objects to his way, for who knows that which is in one's neighbor's heart. Thus he thought that after a short time of work he would begin the work of bestow. Suddenly he sees that each day, the more he works and wants to acquire vessels of bestow, the more he sees that they are far away from him, and he is utterly unable to ever exit self-loathe. The verse tells us about this: the concealed things belong to the Lord our God. That is the aim to bestow, which is called the concealed part, for one does not know one's neighbor thoughts. This a person should know, that in truth it is out of our hands. Rather, the hidden part called intention belongs to the Lord our God. He must give us this power and we are powerless to help him. Yet we can help him by beginning to engage in this work of bestowal and seeing that we cannot exit the self-love in us. By this we help him by knowing that only he helps us. Had we not begun, we would have been unable to continue further. This is the correction to know that he alone does everything. It would be the opposite if we could exit self-love by ourselves. That is, we would think so, but we would be devoid of the awe that he alone does, is doing, and will do all the deeds. But when we see for ourselves that exit self-love, we do not need to believe that he has given us the power, for we evidently see it. It follows that the text tells us not to be alarmed by the fact that we cannot prevail and exit self-love, which is called the concealed part. This is in the hands of the Creator, as it is written, the concealed things belong to the Lord our God, and the revealed things belong to us and to our children. That is, revealed means the part of the action which we can do by coin. This is why the verse tells us that the fact that we see that it's difficult for us is true. However, this meaning the intention was not given for us to do, but rather only the work. Yet by seeing that we cannot do this by ourselves, this is called a prayer, meaning a need for the Creator to give us this cliff. Now we can interpret what our sages said. Making the menorah was difficult for Moses until the Creator showed him with his finger, as it is written, this is the work of the men. We should interpret this in the work. The work of the men means that the light of the Creator will shine, yet this requires vessels of bestow. From where will they take the vessels of bestow? This is difficult as it is against nature, but the Creator showed him with his finger and said to him, this is the work, that is, you will do the work and I will give the intention. This is considered that you will do the revealed part and I will give the concealed part. This is the meaning of the words. Likewise he made the men, meaning by itself a very, very special article. Can yes, no, well shot questions if there are any. Yes, street called the flame that rises on its own. Do we need to expect that during the work? Do we need to aim to that all of the work? There's a lot of resistance and forces that are resisting within a person, and I'm trying to understand what is the correct attitude towards this resistance, that it is only in order to reach the correct goal. In the article many times it says the final result, which the Creator does and will do everything. What should a person do to give up to despair? Person should do what is up to him. That's it. Each time he sees that the Creator finishes the work. Can yes, therein the end can we understand from the article that rubbish is gradually bringing all this explanation of how to reach a prayer, how there is necessity and need to pray. Yes, so degree after degree. Yes, indeed, everything ends with a prayer. Tries to explain here a few times why the Creator didn't give man strength to go to do correction. Why I don't really understand, because it's not intended for men to do such actions that he will make them and light it up and use it. Article here tries to bring a person the feeling of why all the forces are within the Creator. Why do we need that? For we need to discover our deficiencies, that they're all directed towards the Creator, and we only want the Creator to do it, and we expect it no more work to do. There's a place that he explains here that it's in order for us to receive the Torah. This didn't give us the strength that we need to receive something. What's this thing that the Creator wants us to receive and not feel that it's from ourselves? What is this Torah? What do we need it? Further, Torah is all of the light that includes within it the force and the wisdom and everything that a person needs in order to see ahead of him a way that leads to adhesion. Okay, another attempt. Why he created such that all the Torah isn't and strength aren't in the person to start with. Why do we need to get it from the outside? Because otherwise we won't need the Creator. Why does the Creator need us to need him? Why do we need this? So that we will receive from him all of the forces, all of the wisdom, all of the degrees, and we will adhere to him, and we will go through all of the actions and states, and we will learn what is the whole of creation, and then we and him will be together. Only in such a way can creation exist, so that the Creator exists in our world. What are the actions we need to do in our state to do forcefully, even though we understand that it's not the goal? What are the actions we need to do? What is required of us to see how much we're not capable of it despair from it, but rather by each one shall help his friend explain this to each other, that our work is to connect between us, and from the connection between us to turn to the Creator. Then if we turn to him, the Creator explains us in our mind and emotion and our with our power. What is it that we have to do? Meaning, how do we reach adhesion with him and we continue the way together? Israel, the light, and the Creator is our one. It seems like there is a list of many simple actions that a person can and should do, and it seems like from the doing these actions he develops the understanding that he needs to turn to the Creator. The Creator can help. It's in his strength or not, and we've put a lot of things aside and we're focusing on this action called the connection between us, which is also a kind of an action, or is not simple. It's like to do this or to do that. Seems like it's something that each one feels different towards. Without connection we cannot begin to build. The menorah symbolizes for us the upper force, the light that shines in the connection between us, what anyone else. So in the state that we're in, we give great given work incision before we reveal it. It's all by Kiritz against our Walter. He explains here that the difference between Israel and the nations is that Israel accepted upon themselves, we shall do and we shall hear, and in me there's Israel and the nations of the world. So it's a constant battle. Yes, so how can we not escape the work in incision? How can we succeed in this battle? Because we are in a group, and so we learn from each other and we strengthen each other. This is how we advance until we pray all the time, and the Creator gives us connection and our guidance, and this is how we advance from one day to the next. Go ahead and ask, okay, yes, what's the relation between the external action and the internal one? To continue what Rami was saying, these actions that we're required to do, what is the focus we need to perform external actions that are not so necessary, like the inner actions that we want to reach an inner connection, all of us together, so that we become as one piece, so that our forces, our desires will go through the fire and connect into one piece of gold. So the focus is on the inner work. As you said yesterday, that we need to believe that all of the good result depends on our inner work. Yes, so how do we our internality thought, how can this be done? Should leave aside all the important things he has in this world. It's not that he quits his our work, but he should arrange his life, his thoughts and his desires, so that they will all be connected to reaching one piece of a desire in a group, so that only from that later on the emerges we see that the after the acts, the deeds, the hearts are attracted. So a Person doesn't have control over his thoughts and emotions, and he sees it over the years. More and more when we are in situations when there are a lot of actions, like before a convention, then you go into this force of inertia and you can do it towards the goal. But I'm asking about our daily, our mundane. How can we force the desire and the thought? Our work is pretty limited in terms of the connection. It's really important. You need to reach a state where all of our desires go through the fire and they become one piece of metal. What this fire, this flame, the fire of love, the fire of connection, the fire that we want to reach the goal, but we cannot. Yes, he says here, he asks, who taught my sons this secret? Then he explains that the secret is when you see that you're being spoken of and that you have some benefit from it, that you can create something from it. And he says that the angels know the secret, but who taught this secret to my sons? Can we explain what this secret of faith means? We need to go towards the goal of connection with our eyes shut, connection between us and with the Creator, and do everything in order to reach that point of connection, and always with a prayer. Here he says that a person has also the nations of the world. You tell him it's not for you. Yes, there are many disturbances in all kinds of different manners. So how do we search for this secret constantly? Well, this is what we're all directed to in by. Each one shall help his friend. We always are hold, each one holds on to the friends, and this is how we hold all of us together in this direction towards this goal that we es, the connection between us and then connection with the Creator. We have nothing else in life. There isn't this desire among most of the people, but we're talking about those who are here. Those who are here, they have two forces in them, the nations of the world and Israel. So how can we strengthen the fact that this secret is important? That's actually the question. Try to distinguish in each one of us the inner part and the external part, and we try to connect in the inner parts, and with the external part we actually try not to. We try to move it aside. They should be our work. Good morning. From a different angle than what Gillard took, it says in the matter of the work, it follows this order that it takes place in corporality. For example, if a person learns the Torah and regarding the laws that a person learns, he could say that it's not a matter of a secret, something he didn't know, but on the contrary, the Torah says to him exactly how to keep the MIT. But while he learns this, the allegories of the Torah, or just the allegories of the sages, and if he believes that the Torah speaks of him, he doesn't know what connection he has in the words of the Torah, and he wants to know what is written there. He wants to know it's considered that he's studying now the secret, that it will be called the secret. There are two conditions to it to know what the Torah is asking him of, and when the Torah says in the and how to keep the, could you explain that so I can continue the direction judgments, and you can open the book and read there what you need to do. There are no secrets there. The second part in the Torah that already speaks of what he says that pertains to the work of the heart. I saw that if we're here, each and every one of us are here, and we came, we made some effort, we say we let the light work on the one hand, on the other hand something seeps in without us knowing, and he opens it up gradually like kids. That's why I asked about the denim, the judgment and the commandments. The MIT, is that like fundamental? Do we need to add here? This pertains to the practical things that we learn, things we have to do with our eye, with our hands and legs, or with our mouth, etc. This is unrelated to the inner part of the Torah. The text of it's unrelated to the making of the man. How do we give the Torah? How can we yearn for it more? By understanding that we are part of it. It's only through connection between us. There are two ways by which people develop. One way is that they develop through action, and the most important for them is to perform these actions, and the second part is by taking care of the intention. This is already the secret Torah. And he writes that we cannot overcome self-love, which is the hidden part that's in the hands of the Creator, but we can pray that we will have a need that the Creator will reveal to us the vessel. That is an action. The action seemingly is a prayer, but to arrange the prayer, what exactly we should ask. For because in the beginning he wrote, we can perform actions if we understand that we will get a reward in this world and in the next world. That's what he wrote about the Li and have give if the reason understands why it's worthwhile to do it. If there's no understanding there, it's an act that won't bring you anywhere. It won't bring you to faith or anything else, but we have to pray, and seemingly we arrange our intention. What is it that we want to get from the prayer? Maybe in that too there is a corruption. How do we arrange a prayer so that it is a correct deed? We need to scrutinize our goal and to pray to reach the goal. In all, the article is very, very sharp. If we had time, I would read it again, but now we don't have time. Again, yes. In the article he says that it is impossible to correct the will to receive by cutting it into pieces. We have to reach a state where a person has to see that he has no possibility to correct any part, but only has to reach this one mess, one piece of gold. Then he sees that all that's left for him is to ask of the Creator. Now you explained that we have to divide within the person Israel versus the nations of the world to connect the inner parts, which are Israel, together, and then it is truly possible to reach a prayer. The question is, Israel are mixed in the person and we have to put them, separate them and do it, or is it a different kind of work? How do we do it on the way to the path with the increasing connection? We scrutinizing who belongs to Israel and who belongs to the nations of the world. So this is our work mostly in the T, that we have to distinguish these things, yes, in each and every one, and then to connect all of the Israels. Yes, that's all. What does it mean if a person will die in a tent? In other words, that's the condition. Torah does not exist only for those who put themselves to death on it. To the extent he puts his will to receive to death, that's the person really then in it. In this condition, then Torah exists to put the death, the will to receive, not to use it as much as possible. Explains in the whole article that a person doesn't have such a strength. Okay, so he does it by the group, by prayer. All in all, this is what he wants to reach. He hates the will to receive in him, and through the hatred he becomes further. He can't escape that physically, but internally, to the extent that he hates it, he detaches. Here it follows that doing or making means faith, that is by believing that after the doing they'll be rewarded with hearing. Therefore they were certain even during the coercion they were able to do the deeds with joy and love, because they'll be rewarded with hearing. I don't really understand it, how the deed, he calls it faith here, because we say that he reaches the light of faith. He reaches faith to actions of bestow, and to that they're attracted to and they're joyful. So there's some issue here where in the deed that he does by one to be rewarded with being able to bestow, so it will be in order to bestow. It's already considered that he believes the result. Yes, in the end he reaches not having, he doesn't have an intention to bestow. Only the Creator can give such an intention he wants to, but he's certain that only this force is within the Creator. The very fact that I come to the lesson and then I realize I'm just driving on the road, like a beast that's driving or walking. The fact that I suddenly remember it and I try to scrutinize where am I going, why am I going, that's already help. That I received from above, that's already light that starts to shine of course. Thank you. Ken knowledge that I do everything for my own benefit. It's like a revelation. This knowledge we also get it from above, yes, and it apparently pertains to Israel. How can it be that any person cannot discover that he's doing everything for his own benefit? It's not clear. How can it be such a thing that people don't know it? Look at all of humanity and you'll see how billions of people don't even ask about this, and if you tell them that they think only of themselves, they'll tell you that it can't be. They have thoughts of others, and if not, then how can this humanity even exist again? So only the light can reveal it. Can. Yes, he writes that when a person sees that it is difficult for him to hold on to the intention connection with the friends, what should he ask for, importance or pleasure? Understand the article. He says that if the Creator doesn't give a person pleasure in acts of bestow, then he cannot perform such actions. So the question is, what should we ask for? Importance, or is it okay to ask for pleasure also from the Creator in acts of connection? I don't understand where you take this from. He wrote, that's what I heard in the article, that a person works by coercion, and at a certain stage the Creator helps him and gives him pleasure in acts of bo. Yes, so I'm asking if besides importance we can also ask the Creator for pleasure, that he will give us pleasure in acts, in actions, where because we don't want to work by coercion, we want to work willingly. If you have such a desire, then go ahead, ask the Creator. I don't have such a desire. I'm asking if it's okay, if it's correct to ask that the Creator will give us pleasure in actions of connections. Are connections with your friends building the right intention, or do we only ask for importance? Try, it's still a scrutiny. Nevertheless, it's the opposite of the goal, because it will still be to receive, but for the sake of scrutiny you can try, because when we ask we are in this, then we see how to what extent this action, this request, isn't in the direction, the purpose of creation. Okay, questions from the internet. From Latin 8, they're asking, what is the role of the menorah in the work? That's a symbol. We'll learn about it. If a person creates such qualities in him, it's considered that he has a menorah. Women, they're asking, by the power of a praying for a friend, can we help him and detach him from thinking of himself? And this way each one should do it for everyone in the 10. Yes, for more 139. They're asking, can we reach the degree of a we shall do? Only we shall hear, only through the degree of we shall hear. Yes, so what should we do? As much as possible to connect, to be close to each other in a way that we are in these desires and qualities, and later on to move on to more internal matters. There asking, doing the T-by is a state offer, and doing the T-by choice is a state offer. Is that the meaning of observing the Torah correctly? Women, they're asking, the nations, should the nations of the world eventually become Israel? No, so what is their role? To belong to their own framework and work in towards the general connection. You could say yes, because it says at the end of time Israel will expand to the whole world, and it's talking about the force of connection, the force of bestow. Yes, but we're not talking about that for the time being. Okay, all right. 3. Thank you, Ra. How are to collect, to organize the sparks of holiness so that the Creator can ignite the flame between us. Connect as much as possible, create connection as tight as possible, and then to pray to the Creator that will reveal the action of connection between us. How do we light up this flame? How do we bring it to a state where it will burn by itself? We need to yearn for that. All of our little flames will gather together for to be one large flame, some constant state in the it can be a constant state, and the Creator will do with it what's needed. Turkey. To good morning, dear love. If the Creator is the one who tore away the sparks, how can the created beings connect them together again? If the Creator is the one who separated the sparks from one another, the points, so how can the created beings connect them back together? The Creator is omnipotent, can do everything. What's the problem? Don't see the question. More, that's it. Nothing else. From Turkey to okay. Turk, I know that he is the one who does everything and stands behind everything. So hon, to understand the state of we shall do and we show. Here, he gives us conditions so that we choose from these conditions what's closer to Lishma, and this is how he teaches us how to advance to the true Lishma. All right. Okay. Good morning, dear love and world. See, there's a lot of shame that the Creator is best hour and I'm the receiver, and there's no screen, and to lift the greatness of the Creator, the greatness of the 10, and will it give the Creator joy? That's what I'm searching for, and how to constantly increase the greatness of the Creator in the group. For that you have to read articles and discuss it in the group and try to do it. That a lot is written about it. Will I give him contentment? Yes, that's what's written in the articles. Latin 1. What should our prayer be? To have enough of an impulse to defeat the brain that doesn't want to connect. Our prayer has to be stronger than the voices of our egoism. That's all. How does the concealed become revealed? By the power of our rejection. When we reject or resist what has to do with reception and elevate what has to do with the Latin 24. Women. Can we say that the Torah tells us about the inner states I have to go through in my development, and that's why F speaks about me? Yes, Toronto. 2. Thank you for this strong article. The question is, how should we work if instead of reaching hatred to the world to receive, we reach a state? It's horrible to say it, that there's hatred to the Creator and you feel that he did everything, he brought me to this very good. That doesn't matter. Don't get overwhelmed by that. What's important is that we scrutinize the truth. If our inequalities are such that we begin to hate the Creator, then we fixate that and we continue to develop onwards from that point. So by this I can't say that it's prohibited to turn to him in that way. So what if it's bad? We're all bad. We're all bad in everything. Motivates our efforts in the 10. What motivates the efforts in the 10 towards the Creator? Only the effort of the 10. Yes, only the effort of the 10. The collective common effort of the 10b 3 world. CLE. It was said that the action by necessity is rewarded. Faith. How can we help a friend reach faith? You have to obligate yourself to actions of bestow. Show these actions of bestow that we awaken and the outcomes from them, so that the friends will watch it, observe it and learn from it. And this is what's called one shall help his friends. So it's all in relation to myself. Yes, of course. If no, now doesn't matter. One is the article telling us that there are 2 stages in the work of material and the form, and then the form towards the Creator, and then faith and bestow. That faith is on man and bestow is on the Creator. You can say that. Yeah, Latin 14. Is it possible that in the internality of the 10 certain friends present the nations of the world, and Other friends present Israel with the meaning of being Israel in the 10 during the study. It changes, it varies. And there's different forms. Okay, Latin. 10 woman. Latin women. Latin. 10 moan. Mhone. Does the min represent the soul? Yes, yes, woman. Toronto 1. Women. Thank you, dear Rob. In the excerpt it says by itself 2 times. It says it on when you raise means that the flame goes up, meaning we must light up until the flame rises by itself again, and then at the end of the article it says likewise made, meaning by itself. And my question is, does by itself mean when Israel, the Torah, and the Creator are 1? That it is done by the upper force. General question: how to change the work in the 10 from a connection and coercion to do it from your own desire. The work will come from desire when it will emanate from everyone's heart. Women. Turkey. T. How does the evil inclination, how can it love the Creator, and can the evil inclination anal before the Creator? Yes, the evil inclination can love the Creator, as it is written, love the Lord in both of your inclinations. How does that happen? When we get closer to the goal, then we see that we attain the goal specifically through both. Do. Okay, Turkey. 6. Turkey. 6. We have 2 questions. Was said in the article that Israel said we will do and we shall. Here does doing mean to overcome the ego, the evil inclination, and he means to think. Could we say that there is like a mirroring of what's happening on person's action when he goes on the path? On one hand has to overcome the ego and then reaching the thought of the creation that's called we will hear. Yes. Second one. No. Second question. Turkey. Turkey woman. Turkey women. Turkey. Where should our thoughts be aimed towards, and where should our desires be aimed towards? Just aim to the Creator, only towards connection with the Creator, between us and with the Creator. It's all very simple. Kaboo. And thank you. What is this work in the 10 where we strip off from the organs of the will to receive for oneself and correct them to work into bestow? How do we arrive at that? How do we do it? That's reading the articles every day, connecting with the friends, and making an effort to make another step forward together. The problem is that sometimes we think we're making a step forward, but we're not doing it together, and that's a loss. Latin. 14. Latin. AR. Latin. 14. Okay, good morning. In World 10, with your permission, there are 2 paragraphs, and then I'll ask the question if it's okay. No. Make it shorter. Okay, so it's written 2 stages in man work. First to obeying vessels of Eo, and then to feel the names of the Creator, which is the light. Israel and the Creator are 1, and then it says that Thee was hard from, so he explained that you do the deed, and I'll give you the intention. So the question is the intention the light that reforms? Yes, it. 3. A feeling that we're not advancing. How can we give the friends confidence that the Creator will give us the forces to keep working the spiritual work? The work in connection is always in front of us, and we can always do it in any case. Let's move on. Let's go to the next part and sing a song. First, I want to be like you. I want to see like you. I want to feel what you feel. I want to sing to you. I want to cling to you. I want to make this love real. You and me. I want clean, and that's how the world's going to be. Everyone cling the lad to. For I want to walk with you. I want to talk with you. I want to know what you mean. I want to give with you. I want to live with you. I want to dream what you dream. You and me are one. See, and that's how the whole world going to be. Every round, everyone climbing the ladder to free, climbing the L with Me, I want to care with you, I want to diary with you until this see through the door. Please take this self fair and make the universe just like the point in our heart. You and me are one, and that's how the whole world going to be every round. Everyone climbing the ladder to free. You and me are one, and that's how the world's going to be everyone finding the elder for cling the lad with me. Me. Sh. Hello, we're studying from the book The Study of the Ten by we are in part 6, starting item 10. The words of the number 10. Certainly through the departure of the light above the taboo, it was sufficient for the world of to be able to receive their light. However, it was insufficient to give strength to the world of be, so that it too would be able to receive its light. Therefore he added another face to place that screen, and there it turns out that they are two things: the restriction of the light above so that out can receive its light, and the reason that by its ascent a new light emerged, and certainly that light came diminish, although it is from SG itself they could receive it. The matter of the was so that B would also be able to receive its light, so he doesn't explain more about this now, but all in all it will become clearer. Maybe read again 10. The words of the certainly through the departure of the light above the tobo, it was sufficient for the world of to be able to receive their light. However, it was insufficient to give strength to the world of be so that it too would be able to receive its life. Therefore he added another phase to place that screen, and there it turns out that they are two things: the restriction of the light above so that out can receive its light, and the reason that by its ascent a new light emerged, and certainly that came diminished, although it is from sag itself they could receive it. The matter of the was so that would also be able to receive its light. Well, that will become cle clearer over time, the actions about we cover then later on. Next you have the interpretation. Okay, in a light for item 10, the restriction of the light above so that can receive a new light emerged. This refers to the light that emerged by the coupling in it, whose matter has been explained above. Only the phase of out was corrected through the slate, meaning the phase of Nick through the of Nick, since up to there is the place of out that is intended to be after this world. However, none of that light came to the place below Thebe. Ophik. Yes, a new light emerged, and certainly that light came diminished, although it is from S by the ascent to the place of which is and phase 1s was diminished from the level of Vina to the level of hence the vessels can receive it as the phase of know that this new light is the light of an interior vessels of G, and it is the self of the light of G. Ophik. However, that new light that was later emanated by the coupling of which descended reached the and shown for Nick is not the self of the light of Nick, rather it is considered an addition of light, and the phase of Goodall it is written by its ascent a new light emerged, and certainly that light came diminished, although it is from sag itself they could receive it, meaning the vessels of he called them the world of because they are the roots to the world of questions. All right, let's continue. Item 11. The words of the we should provide the reason why these two things were needed. First, the restriction. Second, the placing of the here. The thing is that for the lower ones to be able to receive the light, it must be diminished and come through screens. Since the beginning of the appearance of the vessels was essentially in the world of the aforementioned restriction was necessary so that the light would be diminished, and the vessels of Nick could tolerate it also, since they are restricted. There they are pressed tightly and thus come out intensely through the and expand. Below more than that he doesn't explain. Okay. 12. It was also necessary to install the part and further diminish the lights that come out through the part. The reason for the additional diminu through there is not for the world of itself, which is a world of for the world of below it, so it would be able to receive the light extended for it. Now you can understand how there is screen and between and the however from out to what is above it. There is no need for an actual screen, only remoteness of location, which is the above mentioned restriction. This is because the light rose above the tobo and drew far from the point opposite the tobo and down from the outside. Questions can. Yes, where does they come from? Where does it come from? There arises from different kinds of vessels. There are different screens over the light of light. Of that there's a difference whether the vessels are in order to bestow, or if they're only capable of bestowing in order to bestow, or even less than that. So the defines where the vessels stand. The upper light can't go through the PSA because under the PSA stand vessels that have no screen to receive the lights of in order to bestow, is specifically the scent of mal that arises to Bina, and thereby it limits the lights from coming down from below to below the Bina. And what happens from B downward? What's that restrictive place? That there it is forbidden for the light to appear. There are no screens in these vessels to receive in order to bestow. And what's the difference? Let's say in the first restriction that mal doesn't receive, and here mal light there. No, it's not the same thing, because there simply doesn't receive. Let's say from a certain place. I guess you're talking about first restriction. I'm not sure, but there's a condition mal doesn't receive. However, if there's a condition that mal receives to the extent that it can in order to bestow, then there's already a differentiation where there's more and where there's less, and that depends on the screen. Yes, what causes the diminution of the light that descends below the tubble? No vessels capable of receiving it, as there are above the tubble, and therefore all the vessels that exist from tobo and below, they have screens that diminish the light. But below there's so what it's very strong desires to receive, so just to give them the way they want. So what does diminishing the light means? Diminishing the light means reducing the light to the point that the lower ones can receive it in order to bestow. Right, and what's the connection between the screen of pta, the is the general M over the entire goof of the that stands below the over, and what and the what's the connection between them? There is already a different condition. It typically stands at the and it rises or descends according to the extent the vessels below the P can receive or not. In the screen in the pit of the is there of the first restriction that sustains the according to the conditions of the first restriction. Again, yes is also called the screen between yes and also the world. In order to be corrected, they have to go through that screen. We'll talk about it. It's not exactly like that. Are there more screens in other worlds? There are screens in every will to receive even the slightest in every world. There was someone else here. Yes, I wanted to scrutinize about the new like the orc of the screens. It's a mechanism, if I understand correctly, of GAB screens that scrutinizes as much as it can receive in order to bestow each time. Less and less and less correct, and if I understand correctly, it's a different mechanism. Doesn't allow the light of to go below. Let's put it like That's so it's like a rejecting force and then a different kind of work. Well, okay. You can say it that way, and before the light of could go below it was given that option, or is it received in like portions, both this and that? We'll have to see that where what's the difference in the mechanism of the why is it different, and what is it different goes up or down. It adjusts the lights to be suitable for the vessels, if I understand correctly. So there was a restriction, and then for the next stage of the expanding of the world of Nikim in smallness, there wasn't a need for the B, but it was made for the future states of taking care of the worlds of B. Yes, so that's what he's actually telling us. Yes, there's with respect to vessels that are drawn to the light of no. Okay, what comes first, the world of or the world of prevents the world of Nick the light to expand below, whether it is going to be the world of emerges from Nick of S, and then it expands below and to the tab, and then to the, and then even downwards, depending on what kind of light. So what's your question? What I know is that the world of stops at the place of the right. So what prevents the world Ophic continued to the if there's no there the lack of vessels? Where is the for the world Ophic of S, and then the lights expands from there? What kind of light? I don't know what to say, but according to what I understand, there's also light of mercy that can extend below. There was no restriction over light of, so why do we define the world of that? It expands only to the world Ophic expands to the point of the yes, and it's yes, it also contains the illumination of it comes from Sag. So the world Ophic, when it's small, it only relates to the light of that expands, no the light of its infancy. So that's the question, how does it not expand till it has no such strength, no such vessels to expand in that way? The world of where was the coupling of it made, meaning the lights that emerge are lights of the second restriction. How do they spread? There's the order, but what happens below the why does the world of an infancy stop on that doesn't have sufficient force to keep spreading? There's vessels of reception there, but it's a light of why can it expand? What will it give these vessels? Why do they need it? Okay, I see why it is the diminution of the lights allow them to receive the lights in order to bestow its natural. Smaller the light is, there's more of inability in weaker vessels. Corrected. Well, not all of them to are valid to receive the light. In order to bestow this addition is hit in the amount of light. No, we never talk about amounts. So what is it about it's diminished into the extent that we need screens in order to receive the slate in order to bestow? So from the side of the system, what is diminishing the force of light? Then the lower ones can receive it in order to other places. Why? What's new in them? That they don't need too many preparations in order to receive in order to bestow that small light. There's a principle here that seems to show that on the part of the lights, the departures, the restrictions, they actually allow the lower ones to receive. So there's a kind of a twist here where the light as if restricts itself, and specifically that way it makes a way for the lower ones to receive it. If the lights restrict themselves, they can reach lower vessels due to the lower ones. What is evolving in the lower ones are supposed to evolve. Right, yeah, but they already have codes and screens that in advance before the degree they were determined in that way. That's why now they can't change anything. They're already in a state with a certain course and a screen reflected light. Then if there's a light they can receive in order to bestow, they receive it, and if not, they restrict themselves. It's like there's something Here that repeats itself in indifferent variations, like the light as if closes itself a bit so that the lower one, it's like all the restrictions on the part of the system make room for the created beings to be able to receive the light. No, all those restrictions are supposedly in order to build degrees in the system, that it'll be more clear which lights, which screens, which vessels belong to each and every degree. And acquiring these degrees, acquiring is only through raising man. If there is no degree, let's say that expanded, so there's no more forces, so what does it do? Only through raising m, it can ask from above for more forces of the light to build more vessels, screens. It only works in that way. Okay. Yep, we usually learn that there is the expansion of the light and its departure, making the CLE fit for its role. Yeah. Here he talks about the diminishing of the light, which makes the CLE worthy of its reception. So can you explain it? Is it a different process, different style? The expansion of the light and its departure makes the vessel valid for a troll. It builds the vessels, and that's clear. Why? Because there's a pleasure. I felt it, now I don't feel it. But there's a memory, there's aim of that. And then there's a lack. So what's the diminution of the light here that creates the CLE, or prepares, qualifies the CLE? What is that process? The diminution of the light, as he said earlier. So there's a deficiency in the vessel, so this means it's after the light has entered, there's a memory of it, but now it receives a smaller portion. Yes, no, yesterday we learned that it's actually Mal that connected with Bina, and they rose above, and now it seems to be the follow-up process. Yeah, now he writes that that is for the sake of, yes, I want to understand, Bri actually belongs to Bina, it belongs to Bina, it's below, and it is actually the whole work is as much as we can add to, and all the matter of that it's now below. There's that part of the mixture that it had with, yes, meaning now it's doing, now it's making some new place. Everything comes from the mixture between, and the whole process starts from that. Okay, so now we are going to next part, article speech for the completion of the we're reading from a speech for the completion of the Zohar. We're in the middle of the paragraph that starts with but in our generation, and since the Zohar appeared in our generation, it is a clear proof that we are already in the days of the Messiah, at the outset of that generation of which it was said, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord. It's not that the Z is revealed to everybody and everybody understands it and engages in it, and it's open for everybody, but each and everyone has an ability to reveal it. You can read the book, you can engage in it, and to the extent that you deal with it more or less correct, or we will be able to reveal the secrets of the all more or less, and in this way we keep going. That's why it's called that. The generation is already in the ability to attain the we should know that spiritual matters are not like corporal matters, where giving and receiving come as one. Spirituality, the time of giving and the time of receiving are separate. This is because first it was given from the Creator to the receiver, and in this giving he only gives him a chance to receive. However, he has not received anything until he is properly sanctified and purified, and then one is rewarded with receiving it. Thus it may take a long time between the time of giving and the time of receiving. Accordingly, saying that this generation has already come to the verse, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord, refers only to the giving. We have not yet come to a state of reception when we are purified, sanctified, studied, and exerted in the desired amount. The time of reception will arrive, and the verse, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord will come. True in us clear. Right what? Can we say that? Knowledge can we say that giving is actually the knowledge and receiving is already attainment say it's pretty close so where does the deficiency come to go to move from knowledge to give to receiving it is yet unknown I guess it's rooted in the soul's thank you also it is known that redemption and the complete attainment are intertwined the proof is that anyone who is drawn to the secrets of the Torah is also drawn to the land of Israel. This is why we were promised for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord only at the end of days, during the time of redemption. Thus as we have not yet been rewarded with a time of reception in the complete attainment, but only with a time of giving by which we have been given a chance to achieve complete aim. So it is with redemption you have been rewarded with it only in the form of giving. The fact of the matter is that the Creator delivered our holy land from the foreigners and has given it back to us. Yet we have not received the land into our own authority, since the time of reception has not yet come, as we explained concerning the complete attainment. He has given but we haven't received. We have no economic independence and there's no political independence without economic independence. Moreover, there's no redemption of the body without redemption of the soul. As long as the majority of the people are captive in the foreign cultures of the nations and are incapable of Israel's religion and culture, the bodies will be captive under the alien forces. In this respect, the land is still in the hands of the foreigners. The proof is that no one is excited about the redemption as it should have been with redemption after 2 millennia. Not only are those in the diaspora not inclined to come to us and delight in the redemption, but a large portion of those that have been redeemed and are already dwelling among us are anxiously waiting to get rid of this redemption and return to the countries from which they came. Thus, even though the Creator has delivered the land from the hands of the nation and has given it to us, we have not received it and we are not enjoying it. But with this giving, the Creator has given us an opportunity for redemption to be purified and sanctified and assume the work of the Creator into, and at that time the temple will be built and we will receive the land into our own authority. Then we will experience and feel the joy of redemption. Good. In the beginning of what we read, he writes that anyone who is drawn to the secrets of Torah is drawn to the land of Israel. Who are those who are drawn to the secrets of Torah, the internality of the Torah? Who are they? Those who have a drawing towards the wisdom of to knowing the Creator, meaning people with points in the hearts, yes, who are physically in Israel and the world, yes. And what about people who are just defined as Jews around the world? No, there is no such thing. Jews still, but they were brought up in some environment and carried some essence from the gist from their ancestors. Okay, we're dividing into new criteria here, all right. So according to these new criteria, what needs to happen so that we truly receive the land? Prepare our vessels, that we have the beginning of the vessels, the seeds, and we have to develop them, and then we'll be worthy in receiving the Holy Land, meaning a holy desire, and a holy land of Israel, meaning the actual vessels where we will discover our connection to the Creator. And is it some physical mass that has to awaken here in the world? No physical mass. So it could be a few thousands of BB students that can cause that, even a few tens, few dozens, so say a few tens of the world click and make this connection. But it will already start pulling all of This upward, it doesn't have to be the whole sea in spirituality. Important is the quality more than the quantity. Maybe I'm going too forward, but it's possible that the whole correction is just for, say, a few tens to reach a certain degree, and that's the correction. Even not a few, even a few people, let's say tens. Okay, let it be that way. We are not working according to measurements of this world. The thing that's always confusing is in terms of dissemination, because we are trying to do the inner work, and still you are looking in the world how many forms of people you see in the world. How many is it today? Close to 9 billion, 9,088,000 something. So if you'd see them in the correct form, you'd see between them, among them 300-400 people, and the rest are all kinds of forms of life of animals, like in the body. That most of it we is flesh, and then just yes. So you don't need to right away start counting the heads. Okay, still we are, especially in these days and in general, we always talk about the need to try to reach out to people, awaken them in this direction. Yeah, because among them there can be people that are worthy, so I have to assume that there might be more who listen and might awaken, and we need to reach then. Yeah, but it's not necessarily some critical mass that of the whole of humanity that will awaken. Let's hope. We don't know exactly what time that we're living in, the days of the Messiah, that's clear, but what exactly in this period is happening, I don't know, because it's felt like we're going through tremendous changes at this period everywhere, and from talking to people, and we have opportunities to speak to a lot of people in Israel, around the world, on different corporal levels, but you feel that there can't be some good solution to what's happening. That's according to our mind, according to our minds, according to our minds. So we have to aim, we have to say, I'm going and trying to make sure that there will be channels through which point in the hearts around this world, in how our minds see it, can awaken and listen and join this critical mass that will push this connection. We don't know what critical mass is, or how many people it is, or according to which color we can scan it, but we need to add as many as we can, meaning advertising, and then according to that, whoever belongs to it will hear about it. Okay, so last question. We in these days we talk a lot about not advertising for the sake of awakening the points in the heart, but strengthening the unity of Israel, and so forth. Is that important? It's the same thing. Those who have a tendency to correction have a tendency to connection. Ken writes to us that we haven't achieved economic independence, and that it's a condition for political independence. What does he mean? I don't know. I hear what you're hearing here. Yeah, I never understood what's so special about us. There are cysts in the world, you maybe a few others that I don't know, and there are many. So what are we needed for? They should do the work, draw the light, bring the final correction, and that's it. Why are we needed? Ask the Creator. I'm asking you. I don't have access to the Creator, so I specifically am awakening you. You ask the Creator what he needs you for instance. There's something special about these vessels called that is different from the other vessels in the world today, I guess. So what is it? Yes, there is a special something in each and every connection in the groups. What's special about this work that we're doing here that makes this breakthrough? That's what we're saying, that some breakthrough will happen towards the entire world. You said even a few tens, not even the whole world. CLE required. What's so special about these tens? Specifically, it's the point in the heart, special souls that are in them. Actually, I'm not sure how to continue, but we don't understand this. That's why you don't know how to continue. I remember you once said that even on Balaam's knife for cutting the bread, it was inscribed the state of Israel. Yeah, he says we were given but we haven't received. Yet he also went and spoke to Benin, and if I'm looking at that time we were in, the time of establishing Israel there, was this our forced war, and there was a miracle that it succeeded, and afterwards this whole part of a people that participated in that they became heroes like me, and my own strength made it happen. Yeah, so in terms of the giving part, what we were given that too is unclear, that we've been given it from the Creator. We think we've achieved it with some strength of our own, that this country was established by some military. What do you want to ask? I want to know right now all of the wars that are still taking place in this country. Is it the acknowledgement of the Creator that he's helping us be here? Is that the beginning of it? He's helping us doing a scrutiny, go through a scrutiny, and through the scrutiny reach the correct state that we feel that we're all dependent on one another and must be as one man with one heart. Just to clarify, I understand that we're reading this article now and we have to enter it as in a work, regardless of some depictions of the external world that we see. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, we still see that Kabbalah, the wisdom of Kabbalah, did spread around the world in the last few years. The Book of Isaiah is within reach of anyone in every language, and on the other hand, the matter of doesn't spread in the world, no, is only for individuals. So is for individuals, then it will always be for individuals, but everything depends on these individuals to do lishmiga. If there'll be a sufficient quantity, I don't know exactly how much, but that they'll reach LMA and connect and reach LMA in quantity and quality in the connection between him in a sufficient way. So after them the whole world will also enter revelation of the Creator relatively, but they will never engage in it. It's just that core that I don't know. Don't ask me what it'll be. In what sense the whole world will engage in the wisdom of that everybody will want to be in the right society, connected as one man with one heart, and everything that is written about, but it has to come from an inner attainment of each and everyone in their hearts. That I don't think. So it's like in all of the all systems, you have a part in the also that. Okay, writes that there's no redemption for the body without redemption of the soul. Yeah, he also writes that we have received the land, the corporal land of Israel, but we still don't have the inner land of Israel. Yes. And then he writes, but what's surprising is that a person is not excited about the redemption as it should have been after 2 millennia. Yeah. How does a person who wants to awaken the friends, the 10 the world, what point does he dwell on in to awaken and inspire everyone? How does he join that? That's our evil inclination that erases all the good inspiration that awakens in us every so often. So maybe I'll ask this way, what kind of exercise can we do to practice seeing the good things, seeing the Israel always being inclined towards that through get inspired these writings? I don't know what else to do, so today I get inspired by what they wrote. It truly is moving. Also the article we read before and now, it's very moving. Thank you. No, last one, most of our study is about unity, how to attain unity. My question is the quantity in our work. For us, what does that mean? How do we do that? We do it every day, morning. We come here and study. We come in the evening. We continue. That's called quantity. What we can count, that's quantity. Yes, okay. Owen, we have our schedule for today. Wednesday, 10, we'll have the news program with the R and 10:30 Spiritual States. Program 12 we're meeting for the noon lesson, and at 5 p.m. 5:30 p.m. reading tests well, and we'll conclude with the song Once a Wise Man Said, I wonder if we could unite humanity into a single man with one heart and one body. I'll cover him with love, it's the only thing we must learn, 'cause we came from one point, and to this point we will return. We are one village, that's how we used to be. We are one village, our land live in unity. We are one village, that's how we used to be. We are one village and we're living in unity. We're one people with one body and one voice for everybody. We're one people with one body and one voice for everybody, spreading unity with them. We are all like little drops of water streaming into one whole, and we are all spiritual warriors racing toward the goal. If all we are is alone here, then what are we? Human for, and what are we doing banging on KN on a wide open door? We are one village, that's how we used to be. We are one village and we're living in unity. We're one people with one body and one voice for everybody. We one people with one body and one voice for everybody, spread the unity with them. Thank you, friends, by Sweet Dreams. Thank you, friends. Oh.